A very good evening to all my dear students. I hope you have revised what we have completed in the previous lectures. We are done with chapter number 4, that is share capital and debentures. And today we are going to start a new session, a new chapter with the name acceptance of deposits, that is chapter number 5. Good evening, everyone. Almas, Vishal, Priyanka, Priya, Rajbir, Anushka, all of you. Good evening, Soumya. Chapter 3 and 4, Priyanka Pandey is saying it is still not visible. I will just check at the portal because we have already sent all the notes related to chapter 3 prospectus and chapter 4 share capital and debentures. All right, let me just get it checked at the back end why it is not appearing, because now it will be uploaded. Okay, yes, Miss Priyanshi. Good evening, Pragya, Mr. M.A., Anubhav, all of you. Priyanka Pandey has written, yes, ma'am, revised and also learned whatever we have done till now. So that's wonderful. That's great. So I hope you are all studying well and you are making your notes. Everything is completed. And now we're going to start with a new chapter, a fresh start. But yes, as promised in the previous class, that we'll have a quick revision of debentures because few of you had doubts. But I hope you have done that also very well now. So let me just clarify 2-3 points related to a quick recap of debentures we are doing, because we are going to start the new chapter now, acceptance of deposits. And I told you there will be a similar kind of trust deed provisions in deposits also. Yes, Asta City, don't worry. We are going to have a quick recap of debentures, but not more than that because we've already completed all the sections of share capital and debentures. So section 71, debentures we have already done. What is the definition you will run? SR is required only if you're issuing the debentures which are convertible debentures. Again, there was an important thing that only if you're crossing the limit of section 180, subsection 1, clause C, then only SR is required. Otherwise, the convertible debentures, OR is also fine. So they don't have voting rights. Maximum period for debentures. How many? What is the maximum period for debentures? Yes. Good evening, Rajita. I can see your queries here also. It's okay. Maximum period is 10 years. Excellent. And 30 years, Anubhav, it is only for the infrastructure companies, only in that case. And then debenture trust deed is formed. Trustee is appointed because the security is given when debentures are issued. So somebody is there to take the care of, protect the interest of the debenture holders. The debenture trustee is appointed. Security is created. In today's chapter at length, we'll be discussing about these terms, security, and then we'll be moving ahead to charge. So stay awake and stay tuned in having a large discussion about this similar kind of things. But here we remembered that the trust deed in SH12 form is made in order to appoint a debenture trustee. Now, DRR is created like we were having capital redemption reserve for preference shares redemption. Here we are having debenture redemption reserve, which is created and it is to be utilized specifically for the redemption of debentures. The requirement of DRR is for all the companies. Basically, it is for the unlisted companies. All the companies are required to maintain a DRR equivalent to 10% of the outstanding debentures that we have issued. 10% of the amount has to be included in the DRR. On or before 30th April, now what is the method of investment? It says how you have to invest this money of debenture redemption reserve. Can anyone tell me? 15% of the amount which is maturing in the next year. 15% of the amount which is maturing, debentures which are getting redeemed in the next year. So I am in 2024 right now, 2025 right now. So the debentures on 31st March 2026 that will be maturing on the 31st March of the next year during the financial year, 15% of the debentures maturing during the financial year of the 31st March of the next year, that much amount has to be deposited in the DRR. Debenture redemption reserve amount has to be invested in deposits with the scheduled bank, unencumbered securities, other as per Indian Trust Act, and all these places we will be investing the 15% of the debentures amount which is maturing in the next. And after filling the debenture redemption reserve, it says the amount which you have invested or deposited shall not fall below 15% of the debentures maturing during the current year. So 2025, debentures which are maturing in this current year, if I'm considering 24-25, the financial year. So whatever debentures are maturing on 31st March 2025, 15% of the amount minimum balance has to be made. So one is 15% of the next year, we will be investing in the deposits, and when the debentures are redeemed, minimum balance of 15% in that DRR has to be made. And that can be used, not to be used for any other purpose other than the redemptions maturing in that. All right. After that, we discussed about the meetings of the debenture holders, debenture trustees, if they're appointed, what is the appointment of the debenture trustee. So quickly, I'm going to take your test. So who is the debenture trustee? If any person who is a beneficial holder of shares, can he be appointed as the debenture trustee? Yes, ma'am or no, ma'am? All right, Ms. Nisha, welcome to the class. Yes, you can refer to the previous recordings also for the previous lectures. That's not a problem. Yes, Anubhav, very good. You must be unrelated. Tanu, Pragya, all of you are correct. If a person is having a pecuniary relationship with a company, what is the meaning of pecuniary relationship? Can anyone define the terminology? Can anyone define the limits for me? So if you're having 2% of the gross over or his total income or 50 lakhs, whichever is higher about out of them, 50 lakhs of the higher amount, whichever is lower out of these three limits. So 2% of the gross turnover. In the previous lecture, I told you 50 crore is the gross turnover. So we did 2% of that. Or total income, say for example, 20 lakh or 50 lakh, whichever is lower. So 20 lakh is the total income which was coming lower. So if we are having any relation which is over and above the 20 lakhs, then you cannot be appointed my debenture trustee. So any relation below 20 lakh, that is fine. That is not any hindrance when we are appointing you as the debenture trustee. Is that clear, everyone? Now, if I'm trying to remove the debenture trustees from their office, then I need the approval of how many debenture holders? If debenture trustee is being removed, then you need the approval of majority, all, or 3/4. Excellent, Almas, Soumya, very good, all of you. Anubhav, Rajbir, Ray. Very nice. Priyanka Pandey, Tanu, good answers. 3/4 is the correct answer. And when was the case of majority of the debenture holders' consent is required? When we are filling a casual vacancy, then the written consent of the majority of the debenture holders is required. And the last test question to the class is, very good, Anubhav, Rajbir, all of those who are sending the correct answer. Rajita, Kevin, your answers are also correct, all of you. Dhanush, Mr. Dhanush is also back in the class today. Yes, when the resignation is happening, all these cases, when casual vacancies are. Now, the last question is, when debenture trustee try to protect the interest of the debenture holders and he's addressing their grievances. Grievances means whatever fights they're having, whatever problems that they're facing, debenture trustee is trying to help them. So they can say that we want to call a meeting of the debenture holders. When is the meeting of debenture holders held? What is the request for the number of debenture holders required? It says a written request has to be received of at least 1/10 of the debenture holders in value. Absolutely correct. 1/10 of the debenture holders in values consent is required, then only the meeting will be called. But in case there is a consistent breach, a default is happening, and debenture trustees think that there is a need of calling the meeting, then can they call the meeting suo motu? Yes, Asta and trust needs to be paid, so there is no problem in that. Buyback has separate provisions that we have done with relate to buyback of securities. Accordingly, the buyback will be done in that case. Okay? Yes, whenever the debenture trustee feels the need, that will be taken care of. All right, everyone is clear. Suo motu, the meeting can also be called. It depends upon the requirements and need of the debenture trustee. So first 10 minutes, we have had a quick recap of debentures. We have had a revision and you all have answered very well, which makes me feel proud that yes, you all have revised your lecture very nicely. Well done, students. All right. Now let's begin a new chapter, a new start of the day, that is acceptance of deposits. Now, what is the meaning of the word deposit? Today's entire lecture will be revolving around the word deposit. Deposit hota kya hai? Whenever a company takes any loan, any security is given. Whenever the company was coming up with a prospectus, it was issuing a prospectus, shares were being taken up, money was being received, company was giving shares. Then we have learned about different kind of borrowings that the company is doing, debentures were being issued. Now we are going to learn about the deposits. What are these deposits? Deposits has been defined in the respective section, that is section 2 clause 31, which has an elaborative definition, what all is included. And as per the rules, we will be discussing 3-4 slides about the amounts which are not considered as deposit. Each and every point will be taken up as an exclusive case study. And first, we will be discussing in detail about the definition of deposit. Is that clear? After that, children, you will see very less sections we have in this chapter. One is section number 73, that is prohibition on acceptance of deposits. When you are not going to accept the deposits. Repayment of deposits, how the deposits are to be repaid. Acceptance of deposits from the public. Can we accept the deposits from the public? So there are two different type of companies, public and private company. We will understand how we can accept the deposits from the public. So private company can take the deposits from its members. Deposits is again another necessity. The company is in need of money. So we are not going for the shares. We are not going for the debentures. Now we are taking the deposits from our members and we will be providing interest on the same. But section 73 exclusively tells you that you cannot accept any deposits unless you are doing it as per section 73 exclusive. Yes, the FDs, bonds, Rajveer, very good. Yes, Pragya. So acceptance from the public, only if you're a public company, then you can go and ask the money from public. Children, tell me one thing, can private company go and ask for money from the public? We have already done very nicely in chapter 3 when we did prospectus that ma'am, private company can only go for a private case. Yes, rights issue, bonus issue is allowed to it. But here there is a restriction, we can't go out to the public. All right, well written by all of you also. So here if you are going, any kind of money is to be taken as a deposits, private company can take it from the members, but public company can take it from members and public group. How it is taken, section 76 will tell us how the money has to be taken. Section 76(8) that tells us about the punishment for the contravention. So it is the tiniest chapter which has very small sections, two detailed sessions we are going to have on this lecture. That is, one is today and another day after tomorrow, in which I am going to cover each and every line of your study material module also. The only humble request to all my dear students is please keep revising, please keep learning along with the class. Children, you will feel so happy and glad when you will be sitting for your exams that you have already attended the lectures and you have revised it. You just have to flip through the pages. And trust me, the moment we are doing it together, if you read the content on the very same day, like today at 8:30 the class will end, so maybe tomorrow morning, whenever you have time, if you read the content which we have done today, tomorrow you revise it, day after tomorrow we do it, and you revise it on Thursday, you will never forget it. You remember when we were small, our teachers used to tell us कि जब टीचर ने पढ़ाया अगर वो पढ़ लिया ना, उसी दिन का पढ़ा कभी भूलता नहीं है इंसान. So this is the truth. This is in reality. Because we have just discussed it as fresh topic, now we will be discussing each and every type of amount which we are taking, whether it is a deposit or not. If you'll not revise it after the class, then definitely any child is tend to forget. So the tip you keep asking me now, how will we pass the exams? How will I will be able to write well in the exams? This is the tip. And if you really want to do well in the exams, you really need to prepare well for that. All right. And for preparing well, the best part is Institute is making so much efforts for you. They are bringing the teachers to your home. We are sitting here online doing each and every chapter. We are reading the module together. We are doing the examination question The way the questions come in the exam, we are learning how to write it. The only thing is that you just have to make an effort to revise what we have done in the class. All right, so keep doing that. Okay. Yes, Priyanka, very good. Otherwise, she says it becomes a pendency and it's never done. Good. So that's good if you're revising it along with the classes then and there. Now the deposit, let's start with the definition of deposit. What do you understand by the term deposit? Deposit includes any receipt of money by way of deposit or loan or any other form by a company. So any money that the company has received as a way of deposit or loan or any other form by a company. So company is receiving any amount of money as a deposit, that is known as deposit. Any money that I'm receiving, whatever is received by the company in the form of deposit or loan will be a deposit. But then what is not a deposit is something which is very, very crucial for us to understand. It says it does not include the categories of the amount as may be prescribed in consultation with RBI. So company will call up RBI, they will discuss that these are particular kind of things which we are not going to consider as the deposits. So the definition of deposit is an inclusive one. It includes any amount received by way of deposit or loan. Repayment of deposit is time bound. You have to repay the deposits. You cannot keep the deposit money with yourself forever. You have to repay. It is again a kind of a loan which is taken and you need to repay. It may be secured or it may be unsecured. Now you have to tell me the meaning of secured and unsecured. What do you understand by the term secured? When we say the deposit is secured, it means okay, good, Anubhav, Rajvi, Ray, others. That means a mortgage has been created, means we are creating a charge on the assets, means some certain security is being provided. Very good, Kinari, Almas, Priyanka, all of you. So security is given for any kind of thing, that is a secured deposit. What is an unsecured deposit? Where we have taken the money but no security is provided. So deposits can be secured also, it can be unsecured. A private company can accept deposits from its members only. Can't we accept the deposits from anybody else? There is Mr. A, who is a relative of director of private company, that is Mr. B. So B is a director of a private company and he has a friend, Mr. A. Can a private company, ABC Limited, accept the deposits from Mr. A also? Why not? Because private company can only accept the deposits from its members. It cannot accept the deposits from anybody else, means no one else in the public. Yes, Atharv, it is the hypothecation of assets has to be done. Very good. Ms. Disha Pal, all of you have answered the correct. Security deposit means a security given. Tanu, very good. Excellent. Everyone has given the correct answer. Vemri, very good, because he's not a member. Excellent. So I think others have not heard this question carefully. So I asked you, there's a private company, ABC Limited. It has a director, Mr. B. Can the private company accept it from the directors or its members? Can they accept the deposits? Yes, they can accept the deposits from its members. Well, but there is a friend of director, Mr. B's friend, Mr. A. Can the company also accept the deposits from Mr. A? He will be considered as an outsider. He's a public person. So we cannot accept. So no is the correct answer and wonderfully all of you have given me. But can a public company accept the deposits from members and also from the public? Yes or no? Can a public company go out to the public and accept the deposits? Everybody has said yes, ma'am. But here in this chapter, the yes is with a twist. So a private company can accept the deposits only from members. Fair enough. Public company is again divided into two categories. One is eligible public company, which we are going to understand the definition today, and other public company. So this eligible public company is one which can go to the members as well as public, but other public company will again accept the deposit only from its members. So this is the meaning of this last line written over here. That is, a public company can accept the deposits from its members and from the public if it fulfills certain parameters. So per certain parameters means if it is an eligible public company, then yes, it can accept the deposits from the outsiders also. Clear ho gaya? So what is the definition? Section 2, subsection 31 says any amount received by way of deposit or loan by the company is a deposit, but it does not include the amount specified in consultation with RBI. What are the features? Definition is an inclusive one. What is the meaning that the definition of deposit is an inclusive one? What do you understand by the word inclusive one? Inclusive means, inclusive, yes, Rajita, absolutely correct. Asta Setia, good. Inclusive one means that there are other things which can be included in this deposit. What is the difference between the word inclusive and exclusive? I tell you, this sale is exclusively for Skechers shoes. Now that means I'm only talking about this specific Skechers shoes. It is not applicable to anything else. So the word exclusive means specifically we are talking about a particular thing. So the opposite of the word exclusive is inclusive. That means this definition is open. It has more broader perspective. More things can be included in the definition of deposit. Remember the way we discussed the definition of security, it was an inclusive one. So we have the space for including other things also. That means it includes further things can also be added. All right, it can be secured, unsecured. Do we have to repay the deposit? Yes or no? The deposits are time barred or not? Yes, ma'am. Deposits are time barred. We have to do the repayment of the deposits. Now we have done the general introduction. Let's start understanding Rule 2 of the Companies Act 2014. Companies Rules 2014 tells us what are the amounts which are not to be considered as deposit. So the definition of deposit is to be done in a negative sense. What all is not considered as a deposit? Any amount which we receive from central government or state government or any other amount whose repayment is guaranteed by the central or state government. What is the meaning of this line, central and state government? So if I am a company ABC Limited and I am registered in Punjab and this company has received an amount of rupees 1 lakh from Punjab government for any kind of promotion or any other kind of work, Punjab government has given 1 lakh rupees to ABC Limited. Will we consider ABC Limited will be considering this 1 lakh as deposits? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? And if you say no, then why no? Why it will not be considered? Because any amount received from central or state government. So here we are receiving the amount from the state government. Here the amount received is from the state government. So any government is paying you any kind of amount that will not be considered as deposits. Excellent, all those who have written, ma'am, because it is received from state government. At the same time, if central government has given any amount to ABC Limited, that is also not deposits. Now, ma'am, this is simple, but what is the meaning of any other source whose repayment is guaranteed by state governments or even local authorities? Even if you are taking the amount from the panchayats, from the local authority, parliaments, under the Act of Parliament that are formed, any statutory authority, that will not be considered as the deposits. So, for example, Mr. A has lent a loan of a deposit money of 1 lakh to ABC Limited company. Now, government gives the guarantee on behalf of ABC Limited that Mr. A, you can freely lend money to this ABC Limited. We as government authorities stand as a guarantee, as a backup that this company will repay your money. Now, what the guarantee is being given by the central or state government? Will you consider this amount as a deposit? Yes or no? Will this be amount considered as a deposit if the government has given the guarantee? No, ma'am, this amount will not be considered as deposit. Why did you say yes, Rajveer? Because the guarantee has been given by deposit. Yes, Kirti, absolutely correct. Talmas, Miss P, everybody's correct. Yes, Priyanka, good. So clear? So the first point tells us two things. Central government se paisa aaya, not a deposit. State government se aaya, not a deposit. Guarantee given for the repayment by central or state government or any local authorities, or even the local authorities or statutory authorities are giving, which are formed under the Act of Parliament, these amounts will not be considered as deposits. So how we have to remember this? In short, any money received from Indian government is not a deposit. जहां पे गवर्नमेंट की बात हो जाएगी ना, चाहे सेंट्रल या स्टेट की, वो डिपॉजिट नहीं. ठीक है? All those who have written in the comments also absolutely correct. Now, Indian government is giving us a money that is not deposit. What about the foreign government? So any amount which is, so ABC Limited is receiving some certain amount of money by foreign banks. Morgan Stanley and foreign companies giving certain money to us. Foreign collaborators who want to join hands with us. Foreign body corporates. Foreign citizens. Mr. John, who is in USA, has sent certain money to a company. Some foreign financial institutions, international banks. If they are giving us some money, will we consider it as a deposit? So the first point is Indian government का पैसा deposit नहीं है. Second point tells us foreign government से भी अगर कोई पैसा आया है, किसी credit agency से अगर पैसा आया है, that is also not a deposit. What is the meaning of this line? We are receiving the money from foreign collaborators. Don't we need to repay it? Don't we need to ask for security? So first of all, let's understand the terminology. When we say they are not deposits, what does it mean? It means that, ma'am, the section 73 to 76 say that you taught us in the beginning. We have not done them, but we had an introduction of them. So I told you acceptance of deposit, section 73 to 76A is applicable to all the companies who are taking deposits from the members of public. Section 73 to 76A is applicable. But if you have received the amount from foreign government, then do you think section 73 to 76A will be applicable? No, ma'am. Why? Because the amount is not a deposit, तो उसको ये section 73 to 76A applicable नहीं हो. They will not be having these sections applicable because it is not a deposit. Then what is applicable? It says such funds which are received from foreign government, FEMA Act is applicable to them. There is Foreign Exchange Management Regulation Act which will take care of this. So you don't have to worry when the foreign bodies are involved, when the non-residents, the people resident outside India, they are involved, then these foreign collaborators, FEMA will be taking care of them. Clear? Any amount from Indian government is not a deposit, means Companies Act is not going to put their section 73 on them. Any money received from foreign government not falling in the preview of Companies Act, FEMA is going to take care of. Now, how the examiner is going to give you a question on this? 3 marks case study can come on this simple question. The question will be, there is a company ABC Limited into manufacturing of ready-made garments. They have received the money from USA foreign collaborators. Will you classify that amount of 5 lakh rupees as deposits? So how will you write the answer? You know how you have to write the answer. You will not simply say, no, ma'am, it's no. Exam mein thona sirf ye likh kar aaye. You will say, as per section 2, subsection 31, deposit is any amount of loan or deposit received in the form by company, but does not include the categories mentioned by Reserve Bank of India. Under Rule 2, certain list of amounts is given which is not considered as deposit. Rule 2, subclause 2, if you don't remember, then also it's okay, Rule 2 is fine. One of the amounts mentioned under Rule 2 is any amount received from foreign government, foreign international banks, foreign financial institutions, foreign-owned development financial institutions, foreign bodies will not be considered as deposits. Such receipt of funds have the provisions of FEMA Act applicable. So, my dear students, if institute is giving you a 2 marks question or 3 marks question, which is very simple, we expect you to write an answer in such a way. not just the yes and no. And if you think that you're going to write yes or no, then you'll simply get half a mark. Absolutely correct. Priyanka Pandey says, yes, ma'am, just like the case studies we are doing in the class. Exactly like that, you have to write your answers. Okay. Now, the third one is any amount. First 2 points are clear to everyone. If any local authority has given certain money to the company for certain promotion kind of things, will it be considered as a deposit for that company? So those who have written no, ma'am, they are awake. Others are wondering. Mamitsiti, Bhavya, very good. That means you're staying awake. Pragya, good. All of you. Any amount received as a loan or facility from any banking company or a State Bank of India or its subsidiary or any cooperative bank or public financial institutions. Ma'am, now here we are receiving the amount वो लिख भी रहा है as a loan or facility. तो भाई loan है तो deposit थोड़ी ना होगा. Any banking company is giving a certain amount of loan, or SBI is giving, or any subsidiaries of SBI, any cooperative banks, any public financial institutions. So everything has been included. All the banking industry has come to it. So if you are receiving amount as a loan, it will be a loan or a deposit. That is clear-cut written. Now it is a loan. Then it is not a deposit. So first point we have to remember Indian government. Second point we have to remember foreign government. Third point we have to remember banks. Any amount received from any banking company, PFIs, subsidiaries of SBI or SBI itself, it will be considered as loan. It is not considered as deposits. First 3 points done. Let's do the next 3. Any amount received against the issue of commercial paper or any other instrument according to the guidelines of Reserve Bank of India. Now, what is the meaning of commercial paper? Nobody is going to ask you in the exam. They will simply give you commercial papers were issued. Will it be considered as deposits or not? Yes or no? Any amount which has been borrowed and commercial papers have been issued in exchange of that. Is it a deposit or no? No is the correct answer. And all of you have written no. That's great. But what is a commercial paper? Just for your general knowledge, commercial papers is a promissory note. So I have taken money from Mr. A and I have signed an unsecured promissory note in return that tomorrow I promise to pay you back your money. So you are giving certain kind of promise that yes, you're going to repay the money. So that is a commercial paper. So if such commercial papers against commercial papers money has been received, then it is not a deposit. Clear? Now, fifth point is very, very interesting. Amount received by a company from another company. Now, I am a company, ABC Limited, and I have received the amount from PQR Limited. Certain financial assistance, certain financial help, or a loan amount maybe I have received from PQR Limited. Will it be considered as a deposit? Can a company receive money from another company? Yes, ma'am, they can. Doing financial assistance, business, we can receive the money. Kinari, Pragya, all of you are correct. Mr. Sharath, all the PPTs have been uploaded on the portal. Just get it checked. I'll get it checked from the technical backend. Not a problem in that. Okay. Okay, Priyanka, as a loan, not to be considered as deposits. Absolutely correct. All of you have written correct, ma'am. It is what kind of loan it is? Do you know? It is known as intercorporate loan. So when we go to CA final, there we understand about these kind of terms. There is another section which is taking care of this kind of loan. So they just want to tell you specifically under Companies Act 2013, when we understand chapter 73, chapter number 5, section 73 to 76A, intercorporate loans are outside the purview of deposits. So if any question comes where a company is receiving money from another company, that is falling under intercorporate loans, which is dealt under separate sections. It is not a deposit. Clear to everyone? Now, very, very interesting point. Amount received by an offer made towards subscription to any securities, including share application money or advance towards allotment of securities, pending allotment. Now, what is this share application money? any amount which I am receiving in pursuant to the offer made. So what we used to do, company used to issue prospectus inviting subscriptions from the public, right? And if the public has decided to take shares in the company, then what will company give us? Company will give shares and receive what money? Receives share application money. Section, which section tells us about this? Let me check your studies, how much value application money kahan diya hua hai, kaun se section hai? Without opening the books, can you tell me in which section under the chapter 3 prospectus we have done about allotment of securities where the application money is received and the securities are allotted? So long you have taken, children. Yes, Pragya, Anubhav, which section? Okay, I give you choice. Section 37, 38, 39. Now tell me. Now everybody has written. क्योंकि book खोलने में 2 minutes. My God, Sharath is writing, ma'am, section 49. Look at him. That was not even given in choice, huh? Okay, not a worry. Even if you have joined from chapter 4, it's okay. Pragya, you must do, all of you children, you have to revise the sections along with the chapters. I told you in prospectus, just do the topics in section wise only. Pick up the topic. Today I'm going to do the section, particular section of 34 and 35 for liabilities and misstatements. Today I'm going to do respective section 33. I'm just going to do the share prospectus. तो जब वो टॉपिक उठाते हो साथ के साथ सेक्शंस लिखकर ट्राई टू लर्न देम. करोगे तो होगा, नहीं करेंगे तो होगा ही. I'm not saying that it's compulsory to write the sections, but at least try learning them. At least now you have the time to do. So if you're able to learn it today, tomorrow you might be able to write. Yes, yes, Mr. Sharath, good. It's section 39, absolutely correct. All right. So here we are receiving application money, and what will happen? Then the company will have to do the allotment of securities. Since now you have referred to section 39, so tell me by when the securities should have been allotted. Once you have received the share application money, by when the securities should have been allotted, if it is a private company. Nisha Pal is saying, ma'am, repeat again, 6th point. Which 6th point, beta? Allotment of securities. Okay, Nisha. So company issues prospectus. We invite the securities from the public. Public will come and take the shares in my company. Company will give the shares and receive money. This money is known as share application money. And जब company के पास share application money आ जाता है, तो company securities allot करती. Company is now going to give you the securities. So I'm asking, within how many days the allotment of securities should take place? By when the allotment of securities shall take place if it is a public company? 60 days. Very good, Kinari, Pragya, Priyanka, Soumya. Soumya 30 days nahi hai, 60 days hai. So the allotment of securities should have been done in 60 days. Everybody agrees or not? Others are still finding their books, trying to search out. Yes, ma'am, agree. Okay, good. So that is what we have done in the earlier session also, that everything allotment of securities shall take place in 60 days. Now let's read this provision and then you will become more clear about this. So any application money or advance money that you have received. So we have received an advance, right? When I'm going to give you the securities, I have still not allotted, I have received your money. So that is an advance which is lying with me. So if the securities for which the application money has been received cannot be allotted within 60 days. Now you told me, ma'am, the securities were to be allotted in 60 days, but the company fails to allot within 60 days. Then what do we have to do? Do you remember then we had to refund this money? Was there any provision of refunding the money in section 40? Yes, ma'am, within 15 days, we have to refund the money. Yes, now everybody can recall. So if such allotment of securities is not made, then such application money or advance should be refunded within 15 days. And if this money is not refunded, then from the completion of 60 days, if they are not refunded, then it shall be treated as deposits after the completion of this entire 60 and 15 days. That is starting 76th day of the all this procedure, it will be treated as a deposit. So the first point that they are trying, this is the first point, this is the second. So the first point that they are trying to explain you is that where the share application money is received by the company, within 60 days, the allotment of securities should be done. If you have not allotted the securities, then in the same scheduled bank, you should return the money of the investors in 15 days. Now, 60 days have passed and 15 days time period was given to you to return the money. You have still not returned it. So, how many total days have passed? 75 days. Now, from the 76th day, this amount, say for example, you have received from Mr. A shareholder who is trying to take up the shares in your company. He has paid the share application money of rupees 10,000. He is giving you the money of rupees 10,000. Now, he was to allotted the securities in 60 days, but he was not allotted. Neither in 15 days his 10,000 was returned. So from 76th day, starting from this day when he has given the money, this 10,000 will be treated as, what you will try to treat it as? It will be treated as a, yes, deposits. Now, section 73 to 76A will become applicable to this amount of rupees 10,000. Everyone is clear on this? Now, it says we were told in section 40 that whatever share application money we are receiving from the shareholders, it can only be used for two purposes. One is allotment of securities. If you have not allotted the securities, then refund it. Any other adjustment that you try to do for any other purpose, that will not be treated as a refund. So what does it mean? Say, for example, this money that you have taken from, let's go in the same example. This money that you have taken from Mr. A, he was a supplier of your company. Certain goods were supplied to the company for rupees 10,000. So the company had to pay them rupees 10,000. And now here they try to knock off this entry. That since now, or maybe for example, that you have supplied certain goods to Mr. A and certain payment was pending. So you said, okay, fine, we are adjusting this 10,000 against that payment which you have still not made. So we are not going to refund your 10,000. We are keeping this money for the goods that we have supplied to you earlier. Now, law asks you, this was the share application money that Mr. Shareholder, Mr. A, as an investor, he is trying to buy the shares in your company. He is giving you share application money and you are trying to make it adjustment against the goods and services that you have supplied. Does it sound logical? You are trying to tell them that we have refunded the money because we have adjusted it against the goods. So law says any other kind of adjustment that you are making, it will not be considered as refund. That means now you have not refunded the money. Therefore, this amount will be treated as a deposit. Now this money will be treated as a deposit. So let's have a quick recap of this point. First point, any money received from the share application money, within how many days allotment of securities have to be done? 60 days. If not allotted in 60 days, how many days you have to return it? 15 days. If nothing has been done, then if you have not refunded, then from which day it will be treated as deposit? 76. Clear? The second point is, if you have not refunded the money, you are trying to do any other adjustment, then will it be considered as a refund? Yes or no? No. Then will it be considered as a deposit? Yes or no? Yes. Good. So when you answer me this quickly in the chat box, yes and no, it makes me feel so happy. That means your Anushka has written no. Others have all written yes. Why Anushka you have written no? I'm asking, अगर आपने पैसे को एडजस्ट करा है, रिफंड नहीं करा, तो फिर इसको हम डिपॉजिट मानेंगे या नहीं? So yes, Anush, Anand, Ruti, all of you are correct. Yes, it will be treated as a deposit. Clear? So any money from Indian government, yes, Miss Kinari, you can write down in the chat box, beta, you're not supposed to raise hands. Any money from the Indian government, not a deposit. Any money from foreign government, not a deposit. Any loans taken from the bank, not a deposit. Commercial papers issued, deposit or not a deposit? Not a deposit. Intercorporate loans, deposit or not a deposit? Not a deposit. Share application money not refunded in 15 days will be treated as a deposit. Any other adjustment you are making apart from refund, it will be not considered as a refund. Okay. Now let's do 7th point. Any amount received from the person who at the time of the amount was received was a director of the company or he was a relative of the director of private. So if any amount, so in the beginning, we were trying to see the amount received from members of public. So it specifically prohibits that you can't receive. Ms. Kinari is asking if the refund has been received within 15 days, but the bank has not claimed. So once you have sent the refund from the company side, then you're not falling, then you're outside the purview of this topic. If you have not initiated the refund, you have not made any effort in 15 days, then it will be treated as deposit. Bank is making any default, then Kinari company will not be held at fault. Okay? Clear? Amount received from a person who was a director. So any amount which we are receiving from a director or even his relative of a private company, that will not be considered as a deposit. Any amount which we are receiving from a director or his relative is not considered as a deposit. Why? Because two conditions have to be fulfilled for this. Number one, when this director was giving a money, it has to give a declaration in writing that this money is not given out of the funds acquired by borrowing or accepting loan from others. So this director, there was a director, Mr. A of ABC Private Limited. He is lending 10,000 rupees to the company. If you don't want to treat this amount as a deposit, you have to take a written declaration from Mr. A. He will give in writing that this amount which I have given to the company, it is not out of the borrowed funds. It is out of my own funds. This is my own hard-earned money that I'm giving to you. I have not taken loan from others to give you this 10,000 rupees. And the company will disclose the details of the money so accepted in the board's report. Company will give the detail in the board's report that these amounts we have taken from the directors, which needs to be returned. This is not a deposit. So section 73 to 76 is not applicable if any amount we have taken from the directors or his relative will not be considered as deposits. But what are the two conditions to be fulfilled? I want to open your study material also. What are the two conditions that you need to fulfill in this case? Number one, that the amount is not a borrowed amount. He has not borrowed any amount for giving it to the company. Declaration in writing, very good. And what is the second condition? This amount of loan which you have taken from the directors or relatives shall be disclosed in the board's report. So this definition of deposit we have done. So deposit is any deposit, loan or any other form. It will not be included certain categories. These are the categories which we are doing. Can you take the deposit in joint names? Yes, ma'am, but not exceeding 3. Yes, Priyanka, relative of director of public company is allowed. That point will be coming ahead. Okay. It may be accepted in joint names, not exceeding 3 persons. So if I am taking deposits from husband, wife, and child of the company, 3 people. So I cannot take more than 3, but yes, 3 people can be taken in joint names. Depositor will nominate any person at any time so that if he is not there, so it is a kind of FD, fixed deposits that you're taking. So company also takes certain deposits and try to give interest to the members out over there. Every deposit shall be repaid with the interest. Premature repayment can be made by the company. Private company can accept deposits only from members, but public company have already told. Secured are the one which are fully secured, creating a charge on tangible assets. Please mark it important over here, only tangible assets. Can I take the deposits against goodwill, patents, trademarks? Can I take the deposits against intangible assets? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Very good. Intelligence too. No, ma'am. Okay. If I have taken a deposit of 10,000 rupees and I have given a security in exchange of 6,000 rupees. So I gave a gold which is having a worth value of 6,000, but the amount taken as deposit is 10,000. Is it a full security or partial security? Partial security. Will it be considered as secured deposit or unsecured deposit? Unsecured. Excellent. Pragya, Alma, Soumya, Misty, all of you are correct. Sunil, Tanu, Anatruti, Mamit Siti, Dhanush, Anushka. My God, intelligent students of my class. Everybody has answered it correctly. Ma'am, it will be considered as unsecured deposit because half or partial security given is equivalent to no security given. So if you're not giving any security, that will be considered as an unsecured deposit. जहाँ security दी है, वो हो जाता है आपका secure. Amount not considered as deposits. These are the following amounts which will not be considered as deposits. Central government, state government, local authority. We have already done this. Foreign international banks, all kind of foreign institutions. So word foreign likha hoga, so that means not a deposit. Foreign export credit agencies, again not a deposit. Any amount received, loans from the banking financial, not deposit. Loan received from public financial institutions, scheduled bank insurance companies, not. Amount received against the commercial papers, not deposit. Intercorporate loans, intercompany deposits is different topic. So share application money, we have already discussed about this within 60 days, 15 days refund. So, and if any adjustment is made, that is also not treated as deposit. So any amount received from a director or relative of private company, he is required to give a declaration in writing has to be given that the amount is not out of the borrowed funds, and this declaration, this amount has to be disclosed in the details of money taken in the both report. Amount received from a person who at the time of receipt was director of the company or relative of director of private company. So here we are specifically talking about the private company. Then the point will come, which will be talking about the public company. In case of a public company, again, we are accepting the money. It has a separate condition. All right. So children, we have done 8 good points. Let's take a short break here. I want you to go through these 8 points and then I'm going to ask you questions also after proceeding ahead in this presentation. All right. I think after 2 more points, we can come to the questions. All right, let's do one question and then we'll take it. So answer the following citing relevant provisions of the Companies Act. Wire Electrical Limited, having a paid up share capital of 1 crore, availed a term loan from ABC Bank Limited to purchase electrical items. So there is an electricity company having a paid up share capital of 1 crore. It has taken a term loan from ABC Bank Limited. Mr. Tar, one of the directors of the company, is of the opinion that it shall be considered as deposit. Is this contention correct? So the first part of question 1A, you have to answer. Hurry up and answer me. Everyone in the chat box have to answer this. Absolutely correct. No is the correct answer. Why? Because it is taken from the banking company, not to be considered as deposit. Because as per Rule 2 provisions, we have just learned that if you're taking any deposits from the banking companies, that will not. So any banking company will not be considered as deposit. फिर आपने लिखना भी है. In view of the above provisions, the contention of Mr. Tar for the loan availed shall be considered as deposit is not correct. So children, these small points of the way you're writing the answers, that is very, very important. Okay. And everyone has given the correct answer. So that's great. So let's take, it's also not government. No, Priyanka Pandey, here you're not mentioning the point government. It is specifically to Rule 2, Clause C points related, where we have discussed about the banking company. Okay, let's take a small break. So we are taking a break here. Ashok sir. So I hope you have read all the points that we have done till now. Let's move ahead with the presentation. We have done till point number 7. Now we are starting with point number 8. Any amount raised by the way of bonds or debentures secured by first charge or the charge ranking pari passu. Now, before we move ahead, let's first try to understand what is the meaning of the word first charge and pari passu charge. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of this word first charge and pari passu charge? What is the meaning of charge, first of all? We all understand the meaning of charge? Yes, children? Charge is talking about the security that we have given. So if I have taken a loan from a bank against my car, so I have given car as a security. Just try to answer me in the chat box. What do you understand by the meaning charge? All right. So everyone has given the correct answer. So we understand the meaning of first charge is that we are trying to give a security. A lien is being created on the assets. Now my car is with the banker because I have taken a loan of 10 lakh rupees. And tomorrow, if I fail to repay the loan, they are going to dispose of my car and they're going to recover their money. What is the meaning of pari passu charge? Pari passu means on the same footing. So I have created a first charge when I took a loan from, say, ICICI Bank. I mortgaged my I-10 car. At the same time, I took a loan from HDFC Bank and I mortgaged the same car. Here I'm taking a loan of 1 lakh rupees. Here I'm taking a loan of 3 lakh rupees. Assuming the value of the car, which will be done as per the register value, is around 6 lakhs. So you always have to make sure whatever loan mortgage value that you're giving to the security, it should always be more than the prepayment of the interest as well as the loan amount. So the value is 6 lakhs. Now tomorrow, if I fail to repay the loan of ICICI Bank, they will sell my car and recover my money. Fair enough. But at the same time, if loan of HDFC Bank is not repaid, they will also get their 3 lakh rupees because it is a charge which is pari passu, means it is on equal footing. Miss Saba Shakil, I hope you are now paying attention. So the question was that what is the meaning of charge? But now I'm trying to explain you, charge is a security mortgage that you have taken when a loan is taken from a bank. So pari passu charge means on an equal footing, we have created the charge. So there was one car against which I have taken a loan. Against the same asset, if I'm taking a loan, so that is a pari passu charge, means both the banks can recover the equal amount of money whenever I'll make a default. All right. So now what is the point about? We have understood the meaning of charge and pari passu charge. Okay. So here if the bonds and debentures are issued with the assets which are mentioned for which we are creating charge are mentioned under Schedule 3, excluding intangible assets. So can we create a charge against the intangible assets? Yes. So intangible assets are never given as a security. So it is specifically trying to tell you, first of all, the bonds and debentures are being issued. So what is the company issuing? Company is issuing debentures and it is creating a first charge or pari passu. Now you have understood the meaning of pari passu. So basically a security is being given of which assets? The assets which are referred under Schedule 3 of the Companies Act. Intangible assets are not included, and the amount of such bonds and debentures shall not exceed the market value of such assets, means the valuation has to be done by the registered value. So number one, the security which is given, you are issuing the bonds and debentures and you're giving the security of the assets valuation has to be done by the registered value. So that point is satisfied. If this point is satisfied, then this amount that you have received is not a deposit. Second amount, when you're issuing the bond and debentures, which are compulsorily convertible into shares within 10 years. What is the meaning of compulsory convertible? CCD. That is compulsory convertible debentures. ऐसे debentures जिसको 10 साल बाद shares में equity में convert होंगे ही होंगे. So they will not be considered as deposits. So are you clear on the first 2 points? If you are issuing, so in brief, we are going to write down. The first point is a secured bond or debenture. So I have given you secured bond and debenture, and that security is having a charge, which is a first charge or a pari passu charge, and the valuation is done by the registered valuer. In such a case, the amount received will not a deposit. Everyone clear on this point? Point number 2, CCDs or CCBs. Compulsorily convertible debentures into shares within a period of 10 years, not a deposit. So if I ask you, for example, ABC Limited issued compulsory convertible debentures into shares in 15 years. Will it be considered as deposits? Yes or no? Will it be considered as deposits? Yes or no? ध्यान से आंसर देना. Demerary, Pragya, Memory, Soumya. Yes is the correct answer. Very good, Soumya and Pragya. What about others? Here, yes is the correct answer. Why? Why yes is the correct answer? Because here I have given you the condition of 15 years. If it was converted into 10 years, then only it is not a deposit. If you are taking 15 years, 11 years, 20 years, then it will be considered as deposits. So the condition has to be seen. If it is a secured bond or debenture, registered valuer is telling the valuation, then it is not a deposit. Up to 10 years, if you are issuing the convertible debentures, then it is not a deposit. And third condition is very, very interesting. What is the third condition? Third condition is amount raised by non-convertible debentures, non-secured debentures or bonds. So now we are having non-convertible. So that means they're not falling under the second category. Then it is non-secured also. Okay, security cannot be given. But they are listed on the recognized stock exchange. They are listed on the recognized stock exchange. Then also it will not be considered as a deposit. Learn करना पड़ेगा, मैंने आपको पहले ही बता दिया था when we started with this chapter. So many provisions. I'll try to simplify it for you. I'll try to explain you, but learning part has to be done by all of you. All right. So secured bonds and debentures, registered valuer is doing the valuation. It is not a debenture. You are issuing convertible bonds and debentures within 10 years. It is not a deposit. You are issuing non-convertible. You are issuing non-secured. But if they are listed on the recognized stock exchange as per SEBI guidelines, then again, it is not a deposit. Is everyone clear of the provisions that we have just read right? All right. Okay. So the bonds and debentures, there was a company, ABC Limited. It received amount for issuing bonds and debentures by providing a security of the assets, which was an intangible asset. Will the amount received be considered as deposits? Yes or no?
Recording in progress.
The bonds and debentures which are compulsory convertible in 7 years, will it be considered as deposits? The amount will be considered as deposits, yes or no? Very good. If the amount is issued of debentures 1 lakh, but they are not convertible and non-secured, and even they are not listed on the recognized stock exchange, will it be considered as deposits? Very good, Anuruddhi. Priyanshi wrong, Miss P right, Rajvi right, Soumya right. Then yes, it will be considered. So many conditions have been given over there. So if it is non-convertible, it is non-secured, and if it is listed, then it is not a deposit. But if it is non-convertible, non-secured, and it is not even listed, non-listed, then yes, it will be considered as a deposit. I hope everyone is clear on this point now. Take 2 minutes and read point number 8. Everyone will read point number 8 and ask any doubts if any. And keep making your short notes along with this, whatever points I'm telling you. Clear hai sabko? Okay, Pragya is asking Paripasu, Harsh is asking what is market web. All right, any others doubt? So the meaning of Paripasu is, meaning of the word Paripasu, Harsh, it means that if I have given my, for example, this is my water bottle. I give you this water bottle as a security and I have taken 100 rupees from you. Tomorrow, if I don't pay you my 100 rupees, your bag, you will sell my water bottle and recover your money. This is the meaning of security. Now, I have mortgaged the hypothecation, the first word that you told me in the beginning of the class, that what is the meaning of security? The hypothecation of assets that we are doing. So if I have created that in favor of you and I've created it in favor of Mr. B also. So if I fail to repay your loan amount, both of you, that is the Mr. B को जो मैंने charge दिया, that is pari passu. That means equal rate. So if this water bottle is for 500, you can recover your 100 rupees after selling it. Mr. B will also get his 100 rupees after selling. This particular water bottle, which is given as a security, will be given used to repay the loans of both the. That is the meaning of pari passu. Means on equal footing you have taken the loan. Clear? I hope, Pragya, you're clear about this point now. Harsh has asked about. Nishapal, I hope first point is clear now, first charge. Market value. Okay, Harsh, market value is simply trying to tell you what security that, say, for example, I'm issuing you the debentures of 1 lakh rupees. Okay, now I am giving you the security in return of that 80,000. So that is not valid. The security of the asset, the amount of asset that you have to given, what is its real value has to be decided by the registered value. So there are different registered values where they will assess it, they will see how much depreciation in the asset has happened, whatever valuation they will decide, that has to be considered. And if the bonds and debentures exceed, if you're asking, it has to be security amount which is exceeding. If the debentures are exceeding, security is less, then it definitely it's not falling under this criteria, it will be treated as deposits. Clear? Everyone is now clear on 8th point. Any amount received from the employee not exceeding his annual salary and it is non-interest bearing security deposit. Now, sometimes children, there is an employee, Mr. A, who is working with a company and this company has taken a security deposit from it. कई बार क्या होता है जब हम एक कंपनी ज्वाइन करते हैं तो एम्प्लॉई से ना सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट कर पाते हैं जैसे you start getting salary of 30,000 when you join the company and for the first month salary they will ask you that we want to keep it as a security deposit so that we have a commitment that you will not leave my company tomorrow. So this security deposit is repaid back when you leave the company. So if any such kind of security deposit has been received from the employee, which is non-interest bearing, company is not paying any interest on it. It is just a security base we have taken that कल कोई छोड़ के ना चले जाए तो हमारे पास एक security काटते हैं हम. So generally this is cut from the first or initial week salary. But if this amount is not exceeding his annual salary, so there is Mr. A who is having the monthly salary of 10,000 rupees. So what will be the annual salary? Quickly tell me. If the monthly salary of Mr. A is 10,000 rupees, what is going to be his annual salary? 1,20,000. If he has given a security deposit of 1,50,000 to the company, will it be a deposit, yes or no? You're welcome, Harsh. I'm glad all your points are clear. I feel so happy when you enjoy the lectures. Anurudhi, Miss P, memory, a big yes. That's wonderful. Correct. Anushka, Soumya, very good because we have exceeded the annual salary. So if you're not exceeding the annual salary, then it is not a deposit. But if you're exceeding the annual salary, then it will be considered as a deposit. Non-interest bearing, if I have taken a security deposit of 1,10,000 from the employee, but I'm giving him interest on that, deposit or not deposit? Yes or no? My God, such an intelligent class. All of you have said yes. Memory, no, wrong. Priyanka, wrong. Anubhav, right. Soumya, right. Pragya, right. Anushka, right. Memati, right. Tanu, right. Kushi, Mehra, good. Anirudhi is saying not a deposit. Yes, Harsh, because the interest portion is there. So each and every line has a question in this chapter. Dhanush, listen carefully now. All those who have said not a deposit, that is wrong. Why? I said number. So what are the points in this particular point? Let us write the points. Number 1, amount is received. Number 2, it is received from the employee of the company. Number 3, it should be less than his annual salary. Number 4, when he is in the employment with the company. ठीक है ना, employment में होना चाहिए, तभी ऐसे ही नहीं. And it is non-interest bearing and it is security deposit. If these 6 conditions are satisfied, then the amount received is not considered as deposit. Amount received from friend of an employee. Yes, it is a deposit because उसका तो लिखा ही नहीं है. Amount received from an employee, yes, first condition. It is not more than his annual salary, satisfied, 1,10,000. He is in the employment, yes, ma'am. Are you giving interest? Yes, but it should have been non-interest. So अगर हमने interest दे दिया तो क्या बन जाएगा? अब deposit बन जाए. Clear है सबको? Everybody is clear on this point? Very nice. And the 10th point is very, very simple. It says any non-interest bearing amount received and held in trust. So in the 9th point, you're getting the money from the employee. Similarly, if any money is received from the trust and it is not giving any interest on it, you're not giving any interest on this amount, again, it will not be considered as deposit. Now, 11th point is something which is very, very interesting. Before reading this point, tell me one thing. Say, for example, you are a dealer and you want to buy 50 bags of wheat and rice from a godown in which the wholesaler is dealing. So those 50 bags of rice are costing you around 50,000 rupees. 100 bags of rice and it is costing you 50,000 rupees. So it was not possible for you to pay 50,000 rupees on the spot. And you said that, okay, take 10,000 rupees as an advance and rest I will pay back later. This kind of transactions happens in the ordinary course of business, yes or no? Have you often heard about this? Remember Soga? So many times we used to discuss about these things. Advance is given, other money is paid later on. And it happens, right? So if any amount is given as an advance, where the goods are to be supplied later on, and if such goods are supplied within 365 days, then this amount will not be considered as deposit. So law says where you are receiving any amount as an advance for the business of the company, and this advance has been received for supplying the goods within 365 days if the goods has been supplied, then this advance will not be treated as deposit. What is the meaning of 365 days? Means 1 year time period is being given to them that at least the amount shall be. So those 10,000 if you have given as an advance, then those 50 bags should be supplied to you within 365 days. Then only it will not be considered as deposit. If it took him 3 years to give those goods and services, then will it be considered as deposit? 10,000, yes or no? खेल खेल में पढ़ लिया तुम सबने, लर्न कर लिया. हाँ, वेरी गुड, excellent answer given by Nisha. Pal is again saying no. Why did you say no, Nisha? Everybody has said yes, that is the correct answer. So Nisha, listen carefully. Yes, Kirti, good. Varsha, Chaudhary, everybody. So advance you have given. Nisha, ध्यान से सुनो, मैं हिंदी में बता. आपने एडवांस दिया, कंपनी को पैसा दिया, उसके बदले में कंपनी आपको गुड सप्लाई कर. अगर तो 365 डेज में उसने गुड सप्लाई कर दिए तो इस अमाउंट को एडवांस को डिपॉजिट नहीं माना जाएगा. अगर उसने 365 डेज में नहीं सप्लाई करे, देन दिस अमाउंट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज अ डिपॉजिट. क्लियर? Similarly, advance with consideration of immovable property. Any big house you are buying, any such things that you are buying, and this advance is adjusted later on, then this is not considered as a deposit. It is generally considered as down payment, right? Amount of deposit that you have given. Yes, yes, Rajpur. 366 days deposit. Bilkul sahi. Okay. So any advance you have given for immovable property, that is also not a deposit. Here, if there is a small point in the first point, it says except where the advance is the subject matter of legal proceedings. So it says otherwise 365 days condition is to be seen for not counting as deposits. But if there is any legal proceeding is going on, if there is any fight going on between the supplier and the dealer, then you will not see the 365 days. Then whatever number of days it has been received, it is not an advance. It is not a deposit. So the only exception is legal proceedings. वैसे 365 days देखने हैं, 365 days में अगर supply हो गए things, तो it is not a deposit. अगर legal proceedings हैं, then no 365 days. Then in any of the case, it is not a deposit. Clear? Immovable property के case में any advance adjusted, it is not a deposit. Next is for the performance of the contract. Third point. Just read the third point. What does it say? Security deposit for the performance of the contract of supply of goods. Any security that you have received for performing the contract. So you have received the deposit and tomorrow after 15 days or any number of days, you're going to supply those goods and services. Then also it is not considered as a deposit. Any advance received for long-term projects for supplying the capital goods, except those covered under item B. So कहते हैं एक तो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी हो गया ना, उसके अलावा अगर कोई कैपिटल गुड सप्लाई कर रहे हो लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए, दैट इज ऑल्सो नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज एडवांस. That advance is also not considered as deposit. So number one, for the supply of goods and services, any advance received in the ordinary course of business, the condition is supply the goods in 365 days, then it is not a deposit. If not 365 days, only in case of legal proceedings. Clear? Second is for the immovable property, if any advance has been received. Third is for performance of the contract. Fourth is any long-term projects for supplying the capital goods. Then also it is not considered as deposit. Any advance for consideration of providing future services in the form of annual maintenance contract. Now you have heard about AMCs, annual maintenance contracts or warranties, which are given as a common business practice. So you have purchased a mobile phone and the shopkeeper said, okay, give me 10,000 as the annual maintenance contract. Tomorrow it is this, your mobile is in warranty. Kuch bhi kharcha aata hai, so we will adjust that advance from this 10,000 rupees. So you have heard about AMC contracts for machinery if you have purchased. So you do an additional AMC contract, annual maintenance contract, that the amounts will be adjusted if there is any problem. Then this amount will not be considered as deposit only if this condition is satisfied. Kya condition hai? If the period for providing this service does not exceed the period prevalent as per the common business practice of 5 years, whichever is less. So if the period for which you have taken this advance is whatever period, say for example 3 years or 5 years, whichever is less. So for 3 years you have given the AMC, then it is not a deposit. 10 years or 5 years, whichever is less. So up till 5 years, it is not a deposit. Above than that, it will be considered as deposit. So if you have done any contract for the AMC contract for future services, listen carefully. You have given advance to the company and the company is providing you future services in the form of annual maintenance contract. This contract was for the period of 15 years. How much will not be considered as deposit and how much will be considered as deposit? Think and answer. So for the first 5 years, it is not a deposit. For the balance 10 years, it will be considered as a deposit. Clear? Any advance received by the sectoral regulator or in according to the central and state government directions, again, it is not a deposit. Any advance received for subscription towards publication. So you have taken the Hindu magazine or any other magazines publications के लिए आपने कोई subscription pay करा है कि हर महीने हमें ये publication आती रहे. So any advance given for that is also not deposit. Means section 73 to 76A will not be applicable for such advances. Sectorial regulator means any kind of organizations which are affiliated to the government, Rajveer. So any insurance companies advance that you're giving, such kind of things, as per the directions of government, if you're giving, it will not be considered as the deposit. Okay. So the term sectorial regulator will only be given in the exam. The term publication subscriptions will be given over there. AMC word will be given over there. Accordingly, you have to decide that they're not deposits. However, any amount received under A, B, and D. What was the amount under A? Goods and services, 365 days condition. What was amount under B? Immovable goods. What was amount under D? For the long-term projects for capital goods. If it becomes refundable That means now the supplier is not talking with you. He doesn't want your goods. And the now amount has become refundable. He wants to return your amount due to some reasons. Money does not, the company accepting the money does not have given permissions or approvals to deal in such goods. Then the amount received will be treated as a deposit if you have not refunded it within 15 days from the date when it becomes due. So there was a dealer, ABC Limited Company. It has received an advance of rupees, 1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh, and goods and services were to be supplied in 365 days. If all these conditions are satisfied, ma'am, we understood it is not a deposit. Clear hai yahan tak? Now, this advance was taken on 30th April 24. On 30th May 2024, company feels that we don't want to deal in such goods and services and we don't want, please refund our money. Now, if the amount has become refundable due to any of the reasons, any event has occurred due to which the amount has become refundable, then 30th May ko ye event hua, within 15 days, that is 15th June, till 15th June, this amount shall be refunded. If it is not refunded till 15th June, then this amount shall be treated as deposit. Then this amount shall be treated as deposit. Everyone is clear on this? So all the clauses which are falling under A, B, and D, wherever the amount becomes refundable, and you have not refunded that amount, within 15 days, you have to refund that amount. If you fail to refund it within 15 days, then it becomes a deposit. So let's have a quick recap under point number 11, advances that you're receiving. Point number 9 was employee से non-interest bearing अगर हम receive कर रहे हैं, क्या condition थी? Annual salary not to be exceeding. It is not deposit. Non-interest bearing amount received from the trust, not deposit. For the advances, we have done 7 points. First is for the goods and services. Second is for the immovable property. Third is security deposit for the performance of the contract. Fourth is for the long-term project supply of goods. Fifth is for the consideration of future services, AMC contracts. Sixth, any sectorial regulator amounts. Seventh is for the subscription of any publication. Any of these categories you have received the advance, it will not be considered as deposit. However, under point number A, for the goods and services, for the immovable property, or for the long-term projects, if the amount has become refundable due to some reasons, we don't want to deal in such goods, then what is the number of days in which the amount should be refunded? Quickly tell me. Within 15 days. If the amount is not refunded in 15 days, then what will happen? Excellent. It will become deposits. Don't worry. After 12th point, I'll give you 2 minutes to grab the information and then we will do it. 1 point we will do more and then. Any amount brought in by the promoters of the company by way of unsecured loan. Now we have dealt with the directors. We have dealt with relatives of the directors also. We are dealing with the promoters. So ABC are the promoters of the company and they have given a loan of 10,000 rupees to ABC Limited, which is by the way of unsecured loans, means there is no security. Because of the stipulation का मतलब क्या होता है? Condition. एक ऐसी condition लगा दी थी lending bank ने. एक बैंक था HDFC बैंक जो इनको लोन देता था ABC Limited को. HDFC Bank said that we will give you loan only on that condition if you are taking a loan of 10,000 from us, we will lend you the loan only on this condition if the promoters of the company are also giving unsecured loan to the company. So bank said, you are taking loan from me to do some business. Why don't you first take a loan from your promoters? They invest your money as a loan to make sure that you're doing a genuine business. So if such loan has been taken because of the stipulation or condition imposed by the bank, loan is provided either by promoters or the relatives themselves, then it will not be considered as a deposit. Provided till the loan of the bank or financial institutions are repaid. So जब तक आप बैंक का पैसा नहीं रीपे करते तब तक ये अमाउंट डिपॉजिट नहीं माना जाएगा. हाँ, अगर आपने एचडीएफसी बैंक का 10,000 रीपे कर दिया but the promoter's loan is still not repaid, then it will be considered as deposit. So what are the conditions over here? Number one condition, who is giving the money? Promoters are giving. Are the relatives also included? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Are the relatives included? Are the relatives also included? Definitely. Promoters and relatives both are included. And the loan has been taken from the promoters as an unsecured loan on the condition that the bank is giving the loans only on this respective condition. Then till the time period the loans are not repaid, it will be considered as non-deposit. But once the loan of the bank is repaid, say for example on 1st May you have repaid the loan of the bank, but promoter's loan is paid on 30th. So from this 1st May to 30th May, the promoter's loan will be considered as deposit. All right. Now we have done points till 12. I give you a short break of 2 minutes. Quickly go through these points and then ask me doubts. And we have certain important questions also. Okay. Let's have a small break here and just go through the points. points, and now Priyanka is saying, ma'am, explain in Hindi subject to following conditions का क्या मतलब है? हिंदी में subject to following conditions का मतलब होता है कि इन conditions के तहत, मतलब अगर ये follow करोगे तभी वो points को final माना जाएगा. Okay. Let's read the points from the module also. There is some disturbance in my eye actually. That's why I'm just keeping the camera off in between for a minute because there's some trouble going over here. So please bear with that, but we'll complete the topic. Similarly, for the goods, if exceed 3 years, yes, Miss P, it will be definitely, if you're exceeding 365 days, then it will be considered as the amount will not be considered as deposits if you have exceeded, then yes, it will be considered as deposit. Yes, thank you, Soumya. I'm all right otherwise, but there is some problem going on because of which I have to wash my eyes in between. So, okay. So let's read the points from here. Bonds and debentures. I hope all the bonds and debentures points are clear to you. For the first and pari passu charge. Okay, thank you, Anubhav. Thank you, Harsh. Thank you, children. Bonds and debentures for the first charge and pari passu charge, and if they're compulsory convertible, what is the number of years in which they shall be convertible if they're not to be treated as deposits? Full amount of maturity, Miss P. Okay. 10 years, absolutely correct. 10 years is the correct answer. If it is more than that, then it will be treated as deposits. Here it is written excluding intangible. We have already done this. Non-convertible issues. Let's do example number 1. It will give you more clarity. Surya Limited has raised rupees 20 lakhs through the issue of non-convertible debentures, not constituting a charge on the assets of the company. The NCDs are listed on recognized stock exchange as per SEBI. The said amount will not be considered as deposit. What was the condition? It is a non-convertible, non-secured debentures. It is not having a security. If they are listed, will it be considered as deposits? No, ma'am. But if they would have been unlisted, then your answer would have been same, children. Then non-convertible, non-secured, unlisted. Then it will be considered as deposit, yes or no? Very good. Then it will be considered as deposit. Excellent. Example 2, Ratnakar was appointed as the supervisor by Siddhi Transporters and Logistics at an annual salary of rupees 6 lakh. He was requested to deposit 6,50,000. Deposit or non-deposit? Please give me the reason also for the example 2. 6,50,000 exceeding the annual salary. No interest bearing, that point is clear. But here, since it has exceeded the annual salary, which is more than his annual salary, therefore, this amount will be considered as deposit. If it would have been less than 6 lakhs, then it would not have been considered as deposits. If the amount has been received from the trust and it is non-interest bearing, then also it will not be considered as. For the advances, 365 days is the condition. But if any court case is going on, then you don't have to see the 365 days. Here it is talking about immovable property. All these points we have done in my notes. Promoter point is also clear to all of you. Promoters or his relatives, any loan is given, but only the exemption is available till the loans are equal. Now the last 4-5 points quickly let's do from here. Amount accepted by the Nidhi company. So any amount received by Nidhi company is also not considered as a deposit. Yes, Priyanshi, that is correct. 50,000 exceeding because it's a deposit. Amount received in respect of chit funds, that is also not deposits. Any amount received under collective investment scheme. So collective investment scheme is the scheme given by SEBI regulations, the way you have mutual funds where investors take your money and invest them in a different pool of funds. Similarly, collective investment scheme, the money is taken for the investors and a pool is created. So if all these monies are being taken by collective investment, chit funds or Nidhi companies, so they are not considered as deposits. 2-marker MCQ can come, so it's important that you should learn all these points. Yes, promoter is for both. Priyanka, they have specifically mentioned over here in the promoter's case that it is promoters of the company. So public and private company both are included. Relating to director's point, I wanted to show you over here. Intercorporate deposits we did, and then amount received who was a director of the company or a relative of the director of a private company. So please children, write it in your books over here. Director of the company means here it is specifically talking about the director of the public company. So that means any amount received from the relative of a director of public company, any amount received from a relative of director of a public company will be a deposit or not a deposit? Will be a deposit. Because relative of director and relative of director of private company deposit नहीं है अगर दो condition satisfy. But अगर private public company के director के relative से ले रहे हैं, then it is a deposit. What are the two conditions to be satisfied in case of a private company? Hurry up, tell me. If the money is taken from the relative of a director, what are the two conditions to be satisfied? Number one, a declaration has to be given in writing. Very good. Second, it has to be disclosed in the amount in the board's report. Very good. So see how beautifully you have started learning the topic also along with your studies. Okay, children. I want to do certain question answers also with you. Let's quickly finish it off. So all these chit funds is basically again like a mutual funds we have. So all these points that you have to remember. So now let's come up another point, startup company. So what is the meaning of the startup of a company? It has given you a definition that a startup is a private company which is formed under Companies Act and is issued by the Department for Promotion of Industry and International Trade. DPIIT is the organization which tells you that you are a startup company, then that company is known as a startup company. Convertible note means any money which you are receiving initially as a debt, any money that a person is receiving as a debt and which is repayable at the option of the holder or it is being converted into equity shares. So convertible note, you anyways know that is going to be converted into equity shares. So now if 25 lakh or more is received by a startup company and it is by issuing a convertible note which is to be converted into equity shares in a period not exceeding 10 years. So that means within a period of 10 years, you're going to convert it into equity shares. Then this amount will be considered, not considered as a deposit. So how many conditions are there? There is a limit of 25 lakh rupees or more amount. It shall be received by a startup company. The amount is received by the way of convertible note, means it is going to be converted into equity shares. And what is the time period? For a period of 10 years. In a single tranche means in a single transaction. Agar 25 lakhs or more in a single transaction he received हुए, then only it will not be considered as deposit. Otherwise, if you're receiving 10 lakh, 15 lakh, then it will be considered as a deposit. Let's make it more clear from the example. Greenwood Limited, which is registered as a startup company, which has received an amount of 20 lakhs and 10 lakhs on different date by way of convertible note. Though the company has received 25 lakhs or more, the said amount will be considered as deposit since the aggregate amount has not been received. So here you're receiving the amount 10 lakh and 20 lakh. Although it is a convertible note, it is a startup company which is receiving it, but it will be considered as deposit because the amount has not been received in single tranche. So single tranche is also important, then only it will be considered as the exemption amount. So let's take an example. Amount of 3 lakh rupees was received by BPL Limited, which is a startup company. And this amount was received by way of convertible note in a period of 20 years. Will it be considered as deposit or no? Priyanka, Memory, Miss P, Anubhav, Anush, excellent children. Pragya, no Pragya, yes is the correct answer. Anushka, Sneha, all of you are correct children. So it will be considered as a deposit because it is, the condition is it shall be less than 10 years. Okay. So if it is less than 10 years, if it is by way of convertible note, if you are a startup company and in a single tranche you have received, then it will not be considered. If I have received these 30 lakhs for a period not exceeding 10 years, but I have received 25 lakhs and then 10 lakhs, then will it be considered as deposits? Then 25 lakhs is within the limits. All the limits are being satisfied. For the 10 lakhs, it will not be deposit. Okay? Clear everyone? निशा पाल कह रही है मैम हिंदी में बताओ, तो हिंदी में ध्यान से सुनिए सब लोग. सो दिस पॉइंट टेल्स यू कि आप एक स्टार्टअप कंपनी, स्टार्टअप की डेफिनेशन उसने दे दी कि DPIIT के थ्रू अगर आपको स्टार्टअप बोला गया तो आप एक प्राइवेट कंपनी हो जो कि इनकॉर्पोरेटेड एज स्टार्टअप. थैंक यू सो मच धनुष. यस आई एम हैविंग सम प्रॉब्लम बट नेवर माइंड, आई ट्राई टू टेक द क्वेश्चंस जितने भी हो जाएंगे एंड देन वी टेक अप रेस्ट ऑफ इट इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन. थैंक यू फॉर योर कंसर्न मिस्टर धनुष. Yes, minimum limit is 25 lakhs or more. So minimum 25 lakhs or. Yes, Nisha, I was telling you, अगर आप प्राइवेट कंपनी हो जिसको स्टार्टअप है, वो एक प्राइवेट कंपनी और 25 lakhs और मोर अगर वो रिसीव कर रही है बाय वे ऑफ कन्वर्टेबल नोट्स. कन्वर्टेबल का नोट होता है कि उसने ऐसा बॉन्ड या इश्यू करा है नोट जो कि 10 साल के अंदर अंदर इक्विटी शेयर्स में कन्वर्ट हो, और ये सब हमने एक सिंगल ट्रांजेक्शन में मनी रिसीव कर. अगर ये पांचों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई हो रही है, फिर जो अमाउंट हम रिसीव कर रही है ये स्टार्टअप कंपनी, उसको डिपॉजिट नहीं माना जाए. ऑलराइट, in different amount on same day, yes Miss P, then also it will not be considered as single tranche. Means together if you have received from a same person, if you have received. Okay, so let's do certain questions children. And last is any amount received from alternative investment funds, domestic capital venture funds, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड्स है, कोई रियल स्टेट है, म्यूचुअल फंड्स है, ये सारे भी डिपॉजिट्स नहीं माने जाते बिकॉज दे आर डूइंग देयर रिस्पेक्टिव बिजनेस. दे टेक द मनी एंड दे इन्वेस्टेड. दीज आर ऑल इन्वेस्टमेंट फंड्स, all these trusts, so it is not considered as deposits. So this first question you have already done with me. So read out the second question carefully and everybody is going to do it. Write the answers in the chat box. Thank you, Nisha. I'm glad you've understood. Thank you, Miss P. Three answers I have received. Let me see how many of you have answered it correctly. So it is a very simple question relating to share application money. But he failed to issue the share application money of 5 lakh received. Mr. Khanna, a customer of the company, was refunded by way of book adjustment. So I told you the refund has to be made directly. You cannot do any kind of adjustments. the company secretly reported to the board that the entire amount shall deem to be deposited. So what you have to write, you will simply have to give the provisions of section 2 clause 1 subsection subclause C, that any amount received in following category is not a deposit. If you are receiving the money for share application money for allotment of securities, then if the shares are not allotted within 60 days, within 15 days, it shall be returned. So the bold line is actually the real answer. It was clarified that any adjustment of the amount will not be treated as refund. So how you have to write the answers? First, you'll write provisions of the case. You will give the respective section, what all the provisions are given over there. Then, children, you will give facts of the case. What are the facts? RS Limited has received 50 lakh as share application money, but he failed to allot. So on 30th July, he is trying to receive the amount by way of adjustment. He is trying to get. Can he do that? No, ma'am, he cannot do that. He has to refund the money. So if the application money is not refunded, it will be treated as deposit. Any adjustment has been made, so it is not a trust. It is not treated as refund. Therefore, the amount shall be treated as deposit. Okay. Thank you so much, Priyanka Pandey. Your appreciation is my real motivation. I'm so happy to read what you have written for me. Thank you so much for this. Yes, it is a deposit. All those who have given is the correct answer, because this way it will not be treated as the refund. Okay. So everyone is clear on this point. Let's try to do one or two more questions, because we have done these points related to definition of deposit. So I want to do certain questions with you. Okay, let's do this. Promoters of Green Limited. So now I'm giving you a hint. This one is related to promoters. So you have done a topic related to promoters also. So please read this question carefully and try to give me the answers. So that means you have found the real sense in the answer. It is an unsecured loan given by the promoter. The amount has been given, fulfillment of margin requirements for granting loan. So what will you say? So simply you have to answer this loan will be exempted till the time the loan of the financial institution is repaid. And the loan can be given by the promoter themselves or the relatives. First, you will write the provisions. Here, the unsecured loan is given by the promoter will not be regarded as the deposit because it is unsecured loan and it is being given by the promoter himself. Had it been given by his relative, then also it will not be a deposit, right? Provided the loan is not repaid. Very good. So you have to mention this thing that till the time it is not repaid, it will be considered as not considered as deposit. All right. So any doubts, children, so far? Let me see. All right, let's try solving one more question, but I would want you to revise and come prepared because we have just done this topic right now. So it might, okay, Rajbir Ray says no doubt. So I give you 2 minutes. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, for today's topic, we are done for the day. We have finished. That was a target. We'll be doing the definition. Thank you so much. I'm glad it's crystal clear to all of you. All right. Thank you, Kinari. I'm glad it's now easy for you. Thank you. Thank you so much, children. So I can read. There are no more doubts. Everything is clear. So I request you to come prepared in the next class. Go through the definition very carefully. Try making down your notes. Each point has additional points. So try solving those points. Okay. So try writing down and breaking it into points. You all have to do it. All right. No, sir, I'm here. We'll just wind up. So there is one more query. If the bonds and debentures are valued by the registered valuer. So again, Priya Mishra, all those conditions have to be together seen. If the security has been given and it is given by the registered valuer, then it will not be considered as deposit. All right. All right. Thank you so much, students. And I'm glad we're able to do the topic and see you all day after tomorrow. Yes, sir. Now it's done. Thank you so much, children. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.